Honour. I pride myself on being an honourable man, but I don't often think about what that exactly means. I think in the British context, I think it means the sort of gentlemanly ethic which we're often told we're supposed to have in this country by outsiders, upper middle class kind of ethic of letting ladies go through doorways first, and your word is as good as your contract or bond, a generally civilized, trustworthy, straightforward kind of ethic. And that, I think, is the honourable gentleman and man and woman that I think of. But as an anthropologist looking at honour around the world, it takes on a very different meaning in most societies. Very many societies, not all, but very many, have what anthropologists sometimes call an honour and shame culture. That is to say that men preserve honour and women are the source of and should be protected against shame. So it's a gender-based, sex-based distinction. That's something I'm not familiar with in my own country, but it's particularly found in Southern European, in Catholic, Spain, Italy, South America, sometimes called the machismo, machismo being masculinity kind of complex, where the man is strong and defending the weak and vulnerable woman. And that kind of complex is something which guards the morality of those societies. They are often associated with extreme retribution if a woman's shame is violated in any way, even leading possibly to her killing, as well as the killing or maiming of people who violate her in any way. And so you find the vendetta, the feud, blood feud, and all sorts of things revolving around honour and shame. And if you impugn someone's honour, and that may be through the women, or it may be by insulting a man in some way, it may be in words, it may even be in actions. In the famous song Abdul la Bulbul Lamia, which I used to sing, it was a matter of Ivan treading on the toe of obviously a Turkish gentleman, Russian treading on the toe of a Turk, and the honour was then impugned, and they fought to the death and both killed each other and so on. So it can be caused by just brushing against someone, ignoring someone, saying the wrong thing, and it's a confrontational and quite aggressive world, which you find in other forms in other cultures. One I've come across recently and strongly is in China, where you have the concept of face. It's an aspect of honour. Face, it has to be guarded, and what face is your status or position in society. And the thing that will undermine face is if someone insults you or makes derogatory comments about you or your family or some such in public. You can say more or less what you like in private if no one watches, but if there are other people around and they see that you have been attacked or insulted in some way, then you lose face, and that can either lead, if you don't have any power, to inflicting some punishment on yourself. For example, if you seriously lose face, you may go off and commit suicide, or if you have the power and means, you attack the person who's caused your face to be lost. It's a very important concept for the West to understand, because when dealing with the rising China, the normal approach, for example, of the Americans in negotiations is to attack and pummel and argue with the Chinese in public and criticize them. And that doesn't go down well at all. You can do all that privately, but in public you should respect the other. You should not openly show aggression towards them. And so if Western negotiators and ambassadors knew something about this, they would behave in a much more sensible way. So honour and shame and our behaviour of those kinds are fascinating cross-cultural indicators of many other things: sex relations, gender relations, age relations, and even morality. And just to end, one of the features about Christianity, I think, is that it's not based on honour and shame. There's very little in the certainly the New Testament about honour, whereas some religions, and to a certain extent some branches of Islam, are quite concerned with honour, which I came across also in India. My parents told me of the concept of izzat, which means your honour in the face of others. So it is how you are regarded by yourself and others as a powerful, honourable person who can defend himself and his womenfolk.